Welcome to QNN Sports. I'm Katie Lurie, and we've got the latest in all your Quinnipiac athletics and UConn basketball. The Baltimore Ravens are going to have to wait a little bit longer to play the Pittsburgh Steelers, as just moments ago, the NFL postponed the game for a third time. In recent weeks, there have been an increase of coronavirus cases in Connecticut, with the positivity rate slowly increasing from below 1% to just around 3%. Now, the hearings are expected to get more tense as they continue over the next 3 days, and tomorrow starts the questioning of Judge Barrett. These gloves need to be changed. We've seen just how dangerous an eye poke can be. I mean, I can understand the wariness of fans and athletes for what this change could mean for the authenticity of the game, but it's been done before with football and pads and helmets. It's for the safety of the players. Sticking with college sports here, my favorite topic of the night, EA Sports announced that they're bringing back the college football video game. And I gotta tell you, I'm excited for this. This was my favorite video game growing up, and it's the only reason I still have my Xbox 360 that I got in 8th grade. In 2020, Trey Mancini was coming off of his best year. He quickly became a Baltimore favorite, and most people predicted that Mancini would be the one constant in the ever-changing Orioles lineup. But a routine physical at the start of spring training in 2020 had other plans. His doctor found a malignant tumor in his colon, stage 3 cancer. And on March 12th, he underwent surgery to remove the tumor. A month later, he began chemotherapy, and on April 28th, he publicly announced that he had cancer and would not be playing in the 2020 season. It's moments like these that show how sports are more than just a game. On a Zoom call, Mancini's teammates surprised him with support, encouragement, and the single word fight, with the I and G being replaced by Mancini's number 16. For the next 6 months, Mancini underwent chemotherapy every 2 weeks.
I feel kind of tired, I'd say, and maybe a little queasy for a few days.
On September 22nd, Trey Mancini finally finished his chemo treatments, and things were starting to look up. 3 months later, Mancini and the Orioles received the best news possible. He had cleared his checkup and was officially cancer-free. Not only did he beat cancer, but he was ready to play baseball again. Mancini showed up to spring training this year feeling healthy and ready to play, and that he did. In the Orioles' first game, Mancini not only was in the starting lineup, but singled in his first at-bat in nearly a year since his cancer diagnosis.
Almost teared up a little bit, I'm not going to lie, when I was up there.
After a year of uncertainty and fighting cancer, it's a fitting start to the 2021 season for Mancini. Finally back on the diamond and playing the game that he loves. The Baltimore Ravens are going to have to wait a little bit longer to play the Pittsburgh Steelers, as just moments ago, the NFL postponed the game for a third time. Now, the game, which was originally supposed to be played last Thursday, has now been rescheduled for this Wednesday, almost a week later. Now, this comes as the Ravens are in one of the worst COVID outbreaks in all of professional sports. Now, so far, the Ravens have had 13 players test positive for COVID-19, including MVP quarterback Lamar Jackson. This began last Monday when running backs J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram tested positive for the virus. Then on Wednesday, following more positive tests, the Ravens disciplined strength and conditioning coach Steve Saunders for failing to report symptoms and not consistently wearing a mask. Now, the Ravens have had 9 straight days of positive COVID tests, with 13 players and 10 staffers testing positive for the virus. And so far, 20 players are ineligible to play in the game against the Steelers for either testing positive for COVID-19 or being in close contact with someone who has tested positive. Now, the Ravens aren't the only organization to deal with the COVID outbreak this season. Earlier this year, 2 Tennessee Titans games had to be postponed due to an outbreak within their organization. And yesterday, the Denver Broncos played without a quarterback as they're currently dealing with an outbreak. Now, the NFL is currently investigating both the Ravens and Broncos organizations for failing to adhere to COVID guidelines. But as of right now, the Ravens are set to finally take on the Pittsburgh Steelers Wednesday afternoon at 3:40 p.m. Reporting live from M&T Bank Stadium, Katie Lurie, QU News. Quinnipiac baseball has been off to a rocky start, going 2-6 in the first 8 games. The Bobcats have allowed 51 runs so far this season. That's an average of just over 6 runs per game, as we now take a look at their schedule. Before Sunday's game against Rider, the Bobcats were on a 6-game losing streak. But with the 8-5 victory, the Bobcats are looking to create a winning streak as they head to Niagara University for a 4-game set. And so far for the Bobcats, there have been 2 standouts this season. Evan Volgamore and Andre Marrero are both returning for their 5th year after last season got cut short due to COVID. In the win against Rider, Marrero went 1 for 3 with an RBI, and through 8 games this season, Volgamore leads the team in slugging percentage and total bases. Even though Quinnipiac had a heartbreaking loss, they still had a stellar season. Here's Brian Murphy with more on what's next for some Bobcats. March Madness is underway, and the UConn women's basketball team went up against Iowa on Saturday in the Sweet 16, where star freshmen Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark faced off. This is UConn's 26th consecutive Sweet 16 and Iowa's second consecutive Sweet 16. We're going to start here, and that is Kristen Williams with the dead on three. UConn has a solid lead over Iowa here, and you know what? Kristen Williams drives it around Kate Martin there for an easy layup. Minute later now, and you know what? Kristen Williams, she hits it again. She said, forget about those freshmen. It's going to be all about me today, as she hits another three there. UConn now with a 15-point lead. She easily makes that bucket. Kristen Williams with 27 points on the day as UConn heads to yet another Elite Eight appearance. And Brian, who would have thought that the Knicks would be ahead of the Celtics in the Eastern Conference standing? Already in March, and things are getting crazy. But we're going to start today's show off with another New York basketball team, as the Brooklyn Nets had a game to watch against the San Antonio Spurs. To the Nets here, I've been on board the Nets hype train since the beginning, and people were worried when they started out slow right after they got Harden, but they finally found their footing. They're winning games. They have this trio of all-stars. I mean, they're sitting pretty in second place in the East. Steve Nash has done a great job leading this team this year. I mean, a couple years ago, he was playing against Popovich, and now he's coaching against him and winning. Spring training started this week, and that brings back one of our favorite parts about baseball, the concession food. So Brian, you're at the concession. What are the top 3 foods that you're gonna get? Choices there for you. I'm gonna have to start off with peanuts. They're just a baseball staple. I need the shells all over my feet by the end of the game. And then midway through the game, I gotta go with cotton candy. It is pure sugar. It's fun. It's a nice pick-me-up during a slow game. And then I'm gonna wrap it all up with a hot, soft pretzel. Like you said with the chicken tenders, you need something to fill you up there, and that's what a soft pretzel is for me.